Hey guys, welcome to this episode of The Sims 4 Vampires. Now, if you guys are hearing anything different, I have got a sore throat, so this episode won't be as long as some of the others, but I wasn't actually planning to record this day, but we got an interesting message from Vlad. It says, "You and I haven't gotten along, but maybe we can become friends. What do you say to breakfast at the Diving Pelican?" Now, Adelaide knows the moment she sees this, Vlad's got some plan waiting, but she's kind of confused while he'll do it in open space. Perhaps because Adelaide's gone off the radar. She hasn't been to Forgotten Hollow in a couple of weeks. She spent the last few weeks in the cave where she's now returned to with cat training, or she's been making allies with Alicia and Sophia. And then there was also a time where Viola got beaten up by Adelaide, so Vlad's starting to get a bit concerned. The fact that Adelaide's disappeared from Forgotten Hollows, but seeing she's now strong enough to tackle a member of the council, I think Vlad's now starting to get concerned with what Adelaide is planning, and this meeting will be more of Vlad trying to figure out how far she's coming along, to see if he should start being worried about what Adelaide could end up doing to them and their plans. But Adelaide isn't actually going to accept that, because she hasn't accepted her brother, so she definitely isn't willing to accept Vlad in any shape or form. So it's really strange the fact that he messaged, but Adelaide is back in the cave. She's currently meditating, trying to calm herself, prepare herself. This episode, now that Adelaide is back, she's now going to focus on continuing her vampire training and testing to see whether or not she is strong enough to combat Cat. Now Cat is over here, so we are going to not going to bother asking for training. I don't know why the option isn't there, but we're going to spar there. Hey, I hear you've become friends with Darren Lars. He seems pretty cool. Yes. I did play some days off screen. Basically, I just got her talking with Alicia, with Sophia, with her husbands. So she's done that, and she's just reached level 5 in wellness. So Adelaide, if you stop meditating, Cat should be coming off the phone. So if you guys can then spar. And just, if I just say like share secret, then get them to chat here, because if they chat over there, then they have room to spar. Or actually, it might be easier if they actually come up to the cave again and chat here. But her vampire energy is pretty high, so I'm fairly confident the fact that it's equal terms. Adelaide has been doing a lot of training. She still hasn't mastered the vampire lure, but that shouldn't affect this battle. That's more academic knowledge as opposed to actual physical prowess.
Clevite Benu. Fredoy Bafala Yadib. Nuloy Sawata. Risala Kumbar. Benasa? Kalimpo. Inaquift. Name! Lush!
Tishbana Warba?
Doesn't appear so good for Adelaide at the moment, and no, Adelaide still isn't strong enough. But they're good friends now.
New beam. Shorg.
So if you change it to that, although one thing I would like is she now has 6 power points, and I've been debating really of which 3rd tier power to give her. We have Mesmerize, put another sim into a trance when a prey is moving too quickly or just won't stop talking, or Adelaide simply wants to force a sim into a catatonic state. She simply needs Mesmerize. We then have Child of the Moon, become stronger in the night time. The night time is a real time for the nocturnal undead. As a Child of the Moon, Adelaide will be able to wield more power, will learn skills faster, will tire less quickly, and will be happier. Embrace the moon and soak in its benefits. We also have Irresistible Slumber. Put another sim to sleep. What if Adelaide could command another to sleep at will? Her will, that is. Irresistible Slumber will drop them to the floor with nothing but Z's and snoring to show for it. We then have Manipulate Life Spirit. Gain the power to drain life spirit from another or to restore life spirit from those who have been drained. Unlock true power over life itself. Drain life spirit from other sims. Make them highly susceptible to adverse vampiric powers. Enable Adelaide to protect the ones she loves, or simply refresh her prey using Restore Life Spirit. And finally, Vampiric Slumber. Increase the rate of power gain during sleep and lets Adelaide sleep more soundly. What's the point of being undead if Adelaide has to sleep like the living? Vampiric Slumber will provide a deeper, more relaxing sleep that replenishes her energy more quickly, and it conflicts with Pitiful Sleep. Now, I've been debating among 3, including Vampiric Slumber, or Manipulate Life Spirit, or Child of the Moon, but I haven't decided yet we get 3 points next time. So if we spend 4 power points, that will lead us with 2, which then means we will be able to get another fairly soon. But which one do we particularly want now? I mean, having Child of the Moon would make her stronger of a night time, which means when it comes to the final war, she will be stronger because it's night time the majority of the time. But the only problem is we don't know what vampires she's going to face will also have Child of the Moon, which will then make them stronger. Or if we have vampiric slumber, that means she won't sleep as often. She'll have more energy, which means she could train more. But I think I've actually made a decision to have, while I've been talking, working it out in my head, think she'll probably choose Manipulate Life Spirit, gain the power to drain life spirit from another, or to restore life spirit from those who have been drained, purely because she could then use the Manipulate Life Spirit power to drain those she's about to fight, so she has the upper hand. And also, if one of her friends are then targeted by this particular ability, she will then have the ability to remove it and restore life spirit. So that's what I believe she'll pick. We could spend the other 2 now, but we're not going to. Now, we now have to pick a weakness. So we already have the withered stomach, which means she can't eat human food, normal food. However, she spent a week among 2 new vampires and 2 humans, and she didn't eat human food once. So I think having withered stomach was a good idea for a first weakness, because unlike uncontrollable hissing, it didn't prevent her from having social interactions and becoming friends, and she had plenty to feed on around Newcrest, so I believe that was a wise choice. Sleep of the Undead, only able to sleep in coffins, I don't believe will be the smartest decision, because she's never actually slept in a coffin. So having that may not be the best decision as of yet, because she's still among normal people the majority of the time. Only being able to sleep in coffins would be very limiting. If we have pitiful sleep, power gain is reduced while sleeping, would mean she'd need to sleep longer, which also wouldn't be a good idea. Sloppy drinker, sloppy drinker and guilty drinker, we've already established I'm not going to pick. Uncontrollable hissing isn't overly necessary now, because she's already got 2 allies. 2 allies, although may not be enough, with Cat, and once she finds out about Luella, she's going to go rescue Luella. So that already is a hefty base, including herself. That means there's going to be 5 of them. There are 5 members of the Vampire Council, which means they're on fairly even playing grounds, which I believe Adelaide will be perfectly happy with, which means getting new allies may not be a priority, but she may still go out. Once her father wakes up, she can get her father on her ground. She can go to her brother, if she ever forgives him, to get his help, but she's already got an established relationship with them. Her relationship with her father is not particularly the best, because she hates the fact that he went complete cowardice and went into hibernation. So that may then need to improve, but overall, socializing isn't necessarily the best idea, and seeing both of them already vampires, I don't believe that uncontrollable hissing will be as big a hindrance as it necessarily would be for normal Sims. Then have thin-skinned makes the sun more harmful than normal. That is what I'm now considering. I mean, it'll conflict the concoction she can make, but at the same time she can do that to negate her weakness. And she doesn't go outside a lot of the time, and when she is outside, the first thing she does is go back inside. So I believe that will be her first weakness, or her second weakness, but that will be the weakness we choose. So, seeing she lost, I'm now going to actually get her to spar again. Now the fact that we've done that, just to see if that could possibly have tipped the tides. Neither of them actually impact her physical strength, but now the fact she's used them, she may be stronger. And doesn't seem the fact that that done any difference. But nonetheless, she tried. So she's going to come down here and get her hands on where's the... Is it already out? Did she somehow have it? Interesting. The ultimate book isn't here anymore, which is very strange. I'm just gonna have another look. Ah, it's here. And she has two, which is very weird. So Adelaide's gonna go do some reading. She is at level 13, so she only has 2 more levels. She goes up at an extremely fast rate. If you come sit down and read. So she's not quite a master at vampire lore, but when she is, she'll know the perfect things to do to help her. None of her allies, including her own home, actually has a bar, so once she returns to Forgotten Hollow, that will be one thing she needs to purchase and find room for. Some concoctions that can help her in this fight. Now, there are these globes, but it doesn't allow you to make it. Just take what's already in the globes themselves. The Ultimate Vampire Tale. This chapter goes into detail about vampires who walk in the sun. The Sunlight Reversal Cocktail will give temporary immunity to the sun. Vampires who train in sun resistance can survive even longer in the sun. So, seeing she's taken the thin skinned weakness, will mean she will be more susceptible. It is a tiered point, which means there are still 2 tiers to do, which we probably won't go for, but so she needs to feed and she's feeling angry because she's hot-headed. But she has just discovered the draught of reconfiguration. Adelaide has learnt that there is a drink that allows vampires to reset all their powers. She can now make the draught of reconfiguration on the bar. So she could actually use that to remove the powers of her opponents, then put on top the life drain, and then combat them. They'll be completely weak, and once she defeats them, she can then slay them. Whether she's gonna kill them or whether she's gonna remove their vampire state is yet to be seen. So it says here that vampires cannot enter a home without being invited. Adelaide may want to rethink that. Welcome that. Now, the one thing, as we have all seen, the fact that vampires can have the ability to enter houses at will. It allows them to lock and unlock doors at their own will, because Adelaide's mother, Luella, has that ability. Now it's 4:30, so she is thinking about going out to feed. But because it doesn't get dark until later, she will have to wait. Although now that I think about it, she has plasma packs in her inventory she can drink. The Ultimate Vampire's Tale. This chapter goes into detail about vampires who walk in the sun. The sunlight reversal cocktail will give temporary immunity, so she's just going over that again. But the main plan of what she's going to do, we then have these 5 points now already, because that goes up actually rather fast. But once she reaches level 15, the only way that will then go up will be through sparring and will be through duels. She won't do so many sparring because the only spar she's got left to do is surpass Cat, and she's already made a decision. She is ready enough to go out on her own without a master once she defeats Cat. But Cat is old, just as old as her parents, so, or perhaps even older. We're not 100% sure how old Cat is, but she was banished from Forgotten Hollow, so she's old, she is powerful, and we don't know how long it would take for Cat to be defeated and for Adelaide to surpass her. So, to do this, we will give her Child of the Moon. So that will just make her stronger, because I am expecting the fact that the vampires she goes up against, such as the council members, will have this. That didn't actually increase her that much, so she might actually have a second. But sorry, no, it's just clogged up. But if they do have the Child of the Moon, that too is a 3-tiered stage. But if she just has the first one, it means she won't be as weak against them as she would be if she didn't have Child of the Moon. So, I'm going to end that one here, and in the next part, Adelaide will give it one more test to defeat Cat. We will wait until the night time, so we can test out the true strength, whether or not this Child of the Moon has any impact. But for right now, she's just going to take a shower, go feed, and then we'll just see how strong Cat really is. But that's it for this episode. So